At the time of recording, there was a great law drop on the Synod of Strategic Prophecy. The bit that grabbed me the most was the mention of a hidden chamber guarded by watchers and some sort of visitor from the Iron Sultanate going there, or so rumours say. What could all that be about? And then we look at the concept of, could the God of the Church in Trench Crusade be the Demiurge? So welcome back to the trenches, and let's begin. The paragraph in question says, some chambers, even deeper within the tower's foundations, are guarded by a cadre of watchers, the most elite warriors of the temple, crowned by horns of light. What lies behind these doors remains a mystery, but some claim to have seen alchemists of the Iron Sultanate passing through, and whispers persist of monstrous wailing echoing from behind the 100-ton vault doors. If there is any truth to these rumours, none can say, but they only add to the awe-inspiring reputation of the Synod. First we will establish who the Watchers could be. They're named as such within real-world myths. In the book of Enoch, there are angels who are called Watchers, sent to watch over humanity, but they also commit sins by treading a little close to humanity and end up having children with some of them. They also share knowledge with humans on science. Due to this, they were condemned and were confined to Tartarus until final judgment. These children were called the Nephilim. From the article on thecollectors.com, these giants were violent and destructive individuals who had no regard for life. The rebellion of the Watchers resulted in them becoming fallen angels. What did they teach humans? Azazel, as one example, taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all colouring tinctures. So he taught them extracting metal and turning it into things, such as weapons and tools to create things with, and how to make yourself look great with cosmetics. And there are many other examples of angels teaching humans various things. It's noted that the offspring of the Watchers and human women, the giants, consumed whatever men gathered. When humans could no longer sustain the giants, they started feeding on humans too. The giants then turned on the animal kingdom and eventually on one another. Their fate ultimately was the destruction of the giants, and it happened in two ways. First, many giants turned on one another, devouring each other's flesh and drank each other's blood. Secondly, those that remained were destroyed in the flood. So tying this all back to the Synod, the Watchers are there guarding a door. From what we know of angels, they couldn't be the ones sent to earth, as around angels humans tend to go a little crazy, setting themselves on fire and self-terminating, but some variant on that perhaps. Then the other part, seeing alchemists of the Iron Sultanate going through the door, and two of the parts to quote, whispers persist of monstrous wailing echoing from behind the 100-ton vault doors. So from all this I theorise three things. That perhaps some of the advanced science of the Synod could come from the teachings of the Watchers. That the thing behind the door are the monstrous offspring of the humans and the angels, the giants locked away and wailing, fits that well, and that the Synod keeps them there, perhaps as a future soldier for the battlefield, or fingers crossed, tabletop. So why would the Iron Sultanate be there? What skills do their alchemists have? They combine two things in their creations. Let's say the Lion of Jabir. This Takwing is a product of those minds the alchemists are able to create artificial life and produce all manner of strange, wondrous beasts. Could they be there to help the Synod to control these half-angel, half-humans maybe, to prepare them for the battlefield? So now let's flip to another chapter and examine the idea of God in the Trench Crusade being the Demiurge. A lot of comments on this channel and on Reddit that I've come across put this onto my radar. So the Demiurge is defined in the Britannica as a subordinate god who fashions and arranges the physical world to make it conform to a rational and eternal ideal. He is mentioned in a dialogue by Plato in that the Demiurge is the agent who takes the pre-existing materials of chaos, arranges them according to the models of eternal forms, and produces all the physical things of the world, including human bodies, and later this idea was developed further, where the Demiurge was seen as one of the forces of evil, who was responsible for the creation of the despised material world, and was wholly alien to the supreme God of goodness. So it's a great idea, but does this fit into the world of the Trench Crusade? I think a combination of the two work well together. Someone who makes the world and is a malign, perhaps borderline evil part of God's plan, but is not the supreme being itself. A builder and a forger of chaos into reality instead is their role. Could he be the one who speaks to the warrior monks of the Synod, instructing them with part of the plan for creation? That would also fit pretty well, and though he may not be the nicest god, there is a creator above him, maybe. This would fit into other theory I put forward in another video about how the goetic magic used by the court of the seven-headed serpent is powered by pain and suffering, and how perhaps on the side of the church is also the case. Just look at the stigmatodons of the anchorite. That would seem to fit the concept of the Demiurge as well. So that covers my main two parts. In this next part, I'm just going to have some fun thinking what concepts I would like to see coming out of the Synod of Strategic Prophecy. Let's start with the Nephilim, the children of the Watchers. What could they bring to the battlefield? With the short story of the angel arriving and people burning and going crazy, how about a similar idea, but toned down? As a first, they are gigantic brutes, the tank in the party perhaps, and much like the Tackwing, they have enough self-awareness to suffer, so perhaps they could be that strong man in the team. But if the dice go wrong and their minds go off plan, then they would act as badly as they did in the law, the earthly law that we talked about, eating the flesh and blood of those who are on their side. But what could they use as a weapon, or what abilities could it be fun for them to have? Perhaps they can unleash a holy aura to burn those around them, or inspire those who are within the warband. That would fit, but I can't help but picture these brutes as over-muscled melee. So what about in the case a flaming sword, or trumpets come to mind? The first, not an actual angel's sword, but not Synod mimic of one. A Synod mimic of one, and the sounds from a trumpet must have some effect on the enemy. Could that noise of triumph from an angel type trumpet do something? It's said they are used to herald important events. Could they bring some divine attention to that moment in combat? So as a one-off, some holy light could be focused on the target of the trumpet to strike them down with great vengeance and furious anger. I honestly think the scientific approach the Synod have to draw on the power of the church and investigate their God, I find it very intriguing. It's an interesting balance between faith and science. They are probably the church faction that interests me the most, and after that law drop, even more so. Anyway, now I turn things over to you. What do you think to the Demiurge being the god worshipped by the church, or at least one part of the creator? Do you think the idea of the Watchers are intriguing as me? Join me a comment down below to talk, and if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, you might also like this one.